Over on the right-hand side, that is where we park the motorhomes for the NASCAR drivers and the team owners. That keeps them close to their place of business, which is the Sprint Cup garage. It's here on the left-hand side. Saw the fan zone a moment ago. A big scoring Trilon there on the left-hand side. We have 3 of those around the speedway. Keeps everybody updated on what lap the event's on, as well as the running order. And the big white rectangular area attached to the side of it. That's space for a Jumbotron television system, and we have 4 of those big screens around the speedway. The building here on the right-hand side, that is our Halifax Health Infield Care Center. It's fully staffed with doctors, nurses, and paramedics on race day. It's a state-of-the-art facility. Paved area on the left-hand side. Inside the chain link fence is for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series teams when they're here for Speed Weeks in February. They're here at the same time that the Sprint Cup and the Nationwide teams are here, so those 2 garage areas are already full when they get here. Truck teams don't really have a garage building to call their own, so they work out of portable accommodations in that fenced-in area. Getting back to Lake Lloyd for a moment, that used to be 44 acres in size. In 2004, we filled it in by about a third on this side, and we put in more than 250 premium RV spaces. Each has hookups for water and electricity, as well as cable television. The building here on the left-hand side is the Boardwalk Club. It's kind of a community gathering spot, I guess you'd call it, for folks who do have RVs here in the infield. Grandstands on the right-hand side stretch for nearly 8/10 of a mile down the front stretch from the exit of turn 4 all the way down to the entrance of turn number 1. That's where the Daytona Rising project is going in. Once it is completed, we'll be able to seat just shy of 102,000 fans on the front straightaway. Grandstands on the left-hand side are the Tiny Lund Bobby Allison backstretch grandstands. Those were built in 1994 with an original seating capacity of 4,000 people. Added a couple of seats back there over the years. For now, we could put about 45,000 fans on the backstretch. And we do have lights here at the Speedway. Those were put in preparation for the first nighttime running of the 400 in July of 1998. Unfortunately, that's the same time we were experiencing a rash of wildfires in this area. It got so smoky around here, you literally couldn't see from one end of the speedway to the other. So they had to postpone the event, and they finally got it rescheduled in October of '98. I saw that crowd here that night when they turned the lights on. The place lit up like a Christmas tree, and there's pretty good reason for that. If you look outside the wall and above the seating, all the way around the speedway, you'll see a bunch of light poles. We have 202 of those around the perimeter of the speedway, and each one contains anywhere from 4 to a dozen 1,250-watt bulbs. On the infield portion of the course, over on the left-hand side, right up next to the short white guardrail, there's a series of light boxes. 288 of those, and each one has a 2,000-watt bulb inside. system is designed and installed by Musco Lighting of Iowa. And it's designed in such a fashion that if a driver spins out during a nighttime event and ends up facing toward one of those light boxes, they're not going to be blinded because, quite frankly, it's all done with mirrors. There's a mirror configuration in the back of each of those light boxes, so when it's on, you're looking at a reflected light. Still pretty bright, but it's not as bright as staring directly into a 2000-watt bulb. It's the largest outdoor sport lighting project in the country at a cost of $5 million. And there is enough wiring in the system that if you had a mind to, and all of you wanted to get together and take turns stretching it out end to end just to see how far you could get with it, give yourselves a little time. The wiring would reach from the city limits of Daytona Beach to the state line of Iowa, roughly 1,450 miles. See photographs on both sides here in the tunnel. The ones on the left-hand side show some of the great moments we've had here in the 500 over the years. And on the right-hand side, the variety of racing we have here during the year, whether it's stock cars, sports cars, motorcycles, or go-karts.
Can you imagine 40 more cars being out there at one time?
We put that tunnel in 2004. Also put it in right in the middle of hurricane season in 2004. We actually had 3 hurricanes come through this area in a little over a month's period of time that year, and there was another storm followed those fairly closely. But the construction crew was still able to get everything completed and opened on schedule for Speed Weeks of 2005. We're going to get you back up to the Tours building to see the winning Daytona 500 car from this year. That's the car number 88, the National Guard Chevrolet Ford Dale Earnhardt Jr. That car is going to look just the same way it did when it was sitting in victory lane after the race. The car goes from victory lane to post-race inspection, and once that process is completed, the car is brought over to the Tours building to be put on display.
Never get it back.
Crew can't do anything to the car. They can't clean it up, they can't paint it up, they can't fix it up. So it still has all the champagne stains and confetti on it. Still has a piece of tape on the grill that Junior picked up late in the Daytona 500. Original thoughts were the car was going to overheat and he may not have a shot at winning, but the overheating never materialized, and he did go on to win the race, and that piece of tape is still hanging in there. Whatever volatile liquids were inside have been drained out, though, because it's in the building for a while. It came over here in February. Hendrick Motorsports won't get that car back until next year's Daytona 500 in February. And whoever wins that race, that car then goes on display for a year. For more of the particulars and details of what's going into this Daytona Rising project, what it's going to mean for the race fans, here is again the president of Daytona International Speedway.
Hi, this is Joey Chitwood, president of Daytona International Speedway. Thank you for joining us today on a tour of the World Center of Racing. You've chosen an exciting time to visit Daytona. Our front stretch redevelopment project, dubbed Daytona Rising, Reimagining an American Icon, is underway. We officially broke ground on July 5th, 2013, and this historic project which is expected to cost between $350 and $400 million, is targeted for completion in January 2016 in time for the 54th Rolex 24 Daytona and the 58th Daytona 500. Daytona Rising is driven by our commitment to provide you with a world-class experience. Once completed, Daytona's new front stretch will blend the modern amenities that today's sports fans demand with the heritage that you expect from Daytona. Every seat on Daytona's famed front stretch will be replaced with wider and more comfortable seating. The stadium will also feature upgraded ticket gates and entrances, 40 escalators, 10 elevators, and 11 football field-sized fan entertainment areas with new and additional restrooms, concessions, and merchandise locations. The central fan entertainment area, known as the World Center of Racing Zone, celebrates the history of Daytona International Speedway and its many unforgettable moments throughout more than 50 years of racing. Through this redevelopment, we will reduce seating capacity by nearly one-third of our current capacity. Given this, current account holders will be given top priority in selecting their new seats for the 2016 events. If you are not a current account holder but would like to attend an event in 2016, we encourage you to purchase tickets for an upcoming event now or add your name to the waiting list located online at DaytonaRising.com. Throughout construction, we'll continue to hold our regularly scheduled events. There will be many updates and exciting milestones along the way, so check back in with us often online at DaytonaRising.com or follow us on Twitter at DISUpdates. As you complete your tour, I leave you with a couple interesting tidbits about Daytona Rising. The front stretch grandstand structure is almost a mile long, and as our architects developed the new design, they had to take into account the natural curvature of the Earth, which created a difference of 7 inches between turn 4 and turn 1. And the amount of steel used to rebuild the front stretch grandstands represents approximately 1% of the annual steel production in the United States. I'd like to personally thank all of our race fans who have supported Daytona International Speedway throughout the years. You've helped to make this a special place and provide us with the opportunity to embark on this journey to create an even better experience for you.
Daytona Rising is not the only big construction planned here in the neighborhood. While this goes on this side of the street, across the street there, on the left-hand side, that open area of property, that is where One Daytona is slated to go in. Plans for that call for the construction of hotels, apartments, restaurants, shops, Bass Pro Shops, building a 70,000 square foot store over there, Cobb Theaters, a multiplex cinema. Big glass building is the International Motorsports Center. That is the headquarters for the International Speedway Corporation, which again owns Daytona International Speedway and about 11 other tracks around the country. Also headquarters for NASCAR, as well as IMSA Road Racing. The statue here on the right is Bill France Jr., longtime leader of NASCAR, eldest son of Bill France Sr. Red area on the sidewalk on the right-hand side, that is the Daytona 500 Champions Walk of Fame. Speaking of champions, here on the right-hand side, a statue in tribute to Dale Earnhardt, the 1998 winner of the Daytona 500. Dale is the winningest driver here at Daytona International Speedway in a variety of events, but he only had the one Daytona 500 to his credit. And the final statue here on the right-hand side, that is Big Bill. Bill France Sr. and his wife, Annie B. Bill Sr., one of the founding members of NASCAR back in the late 1940s. NASCAR was actually formed and organized here in Daytona Beach at the old Streamline Hotel over on the beach side. That property is undergoing a major renovation. And Bill Sr. is the man who had the vision to build a super speedway in Daytona Beach. And this morning you've had a chance to see it, Daytona International Speedway. I want to thank you for spending part of your day on the tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed showing you around Daytona International Speedway. This is where we're going to part company, so make sure you gather up all your personal belongings. You won't be getting back on the tram. Going to get you in to see the winning Daytona 500 car from this year. When the tram comes to a complete stop, I will ask that you exit to the left-hand side, if you would, and head toward the back of the tram. Just hang there at the back of the tram for just a second. I'll catch up with you. I'll walk you down, say goodbye, get the door open, get you in to see the winning car. Again, I hope you had a good time. Hope all of you have a great afternoon. Exit to the left-hand side. If you would, head toward the back. I'll be right there.